Here are the young and the restless spoilers for June 4. When Jack and Diane entertain an invitation, Nick receives an intriguing proposition from Phyllis, and Chalise gives Adam an ultimatum. On Wednesday, watch for Jack and Diane to entertain an invitation. Is this the one they received from a messenger on behalf of the enigmatic Aristotle Dumas to go to France in a few weeks? Or is this another offer they've been extended? Jabot Cosmetics doesn't seem to be in Dumas's crossfire. Still, there is a tie between the Abbotts and Dumas. Billy is hoping to benefit from a relationship with the powerful businessman as he launches Abbott Communications. So if Jack and Diane go to France, it could be about protecting Billy and not just curiosity over coming face-to-face with Dumas. Watch for Nick to receive an intriguing invitation from Phyllis on Wednesday. Nick appears to be content not to re-enter a romantic relationship with either of his ex-wives. That's pretty much what he indicated to Devin at Nikki's birthday gala. It's possible Phyllis isn't going to be asking for a romantic rendezvous, but instead is seeking a business relationship with her ex. She can't get her son Daniel on board with her new venture, so she may decide to enlist Nick as her business partner. Adam let Chelsea know that he had a plan to distract Victor from his vendetta against Billy. But can anyone ever outthink the mustached mogul? Victor's likely going to see right through any plan that Adam may have to get his mind off him taking down the Abbotts. On Wednesday's show, watch for Chelsea to give Adam an ultimatum. She's made it clear to him that she doesn't want him to be sucked into his dad's vendetta against the Abbotts. Victor, however, has observed that Chelsea may be an obstacle as he tries to get Adam to do his bidding. Adam may have to choose between the father he's trying to please and the woman he loves. The young and the restless spoilers reveal that fans have a reason to wonder who dies in the murder mystery extravaganza, leaked by Joshua Morrow. It sounds like someone's about to bite the dust and kick off some major drama, so let's discuss what's in store. In a cameo video Joshua Morrow made for a fan back at Mother's Day, he talked about working long hours on a massive story and called it a murder mystery extravaganza thing. That fits with all the ominous dialogue on the show about Aristotle Dumas' creepy extended stay invitations. Some characters like Adam Newman suspect this party is some sort of trap. There's also been some talk about it seeming like a scary movie setup, so the writing's on the wall for things to take a disturbing turn at this bash. Of course, it's possible that Morrow's comment could refer to some type of murder mystery game instead of the real deal. Dumas is clearly full of tricks and is inviting everyone to a Friday the 13th party, so it might be a situation where someone seemingly gets killed off, only to survive in the end when the mystery gets solved. In other words, the whodunit could be an elaborate charade, since that seems like the kind of thing Dumas would do. We could also imagine someone posing as Dumas, like Holden Novak posed as Damian Kane. Dumas might let someone else pretend to be him for a reveal fake-out that goes wrong if that person genuinely gets wiped off the map. Plus, Y&R fans can't forget about Carter, who is Dumas' assistant. The show went to the trouble of casting Carter, so he may play a bigger role in all the murder mayhem than he bargained for if he becomes a corpse. Joshua Morrow's intriguing hint certainly leaves viewers with a lot to ponder, but there's a chance it could be more of an attempted murder mystery instead. If Dumas turns out to be a Kane Ashby recast played by Billy Flynn, then he'll have a target on his back. Kane could get seriously wounded as part of this mysterious storyline, so that's worth keeping in mind. The young and the restless scoop for Wednesday, June 4, reveals Phyllis Summers will learn Nick Newman was invited Aristotle Dumas' party. Also coming up, Chelsea Lawson will continue to nag Adam Newman. Plus, Sally Spectra will be angry with Billy Abbott's plans, and Diane Jenkins and Jack Abbott will discuss Dumas' invitation. Y&R spoilers tease Jack will tell Diane he wishes they could leave on their honeymoon today. He'll add the French Riviera would be nice. Diane will say it sounds like he wants to accept Aristotle Dumas' invitation. When he says yes, she'll tell him she's already made changes to their itinerary. Meanwhile, Claire Newman will tell Kyle Abbott her dad woke up feeling worse. I hate seeing him so weak, it scares me, she'll add. Kyle will say sometimes viruses can be stubborn. He'll ask if Cole Howard has seen a doctor, but she'll say he refused. Jack and Diane will show up, and Claire will say she needs to get to the office. Then Kyle will tell his parents he made an offer to Victor. I hope you haven't made another bargain with the devil, Jack will reply. Kyle will ask them to trust him. If Victor accepts my offer, I'll be the one calling the shots. At Crimson Lights, Billy will say good morning to Chelsea. He'll turn to Adam and say he keeps waiting for an avalanche of bad press. Adam will say Newman Media is just fine without needing to smear him. But it could still happen. Maybe you should brace yourself. You know timing is everything, Adam will add. So when would be the time to do the most damage? Then Chelsea will give him a look of annoyance. Billy will say if he had anything, he would have launched it by now. They'll continue arguing until Sally arrives. Chelsea will immediately turn to Adam. Please tell me you didn't mean what you said. About waiting for the right time to go after Billy, she'll nag. Adam will say he was just baiting Billy and still plans to come up with a scandal to distract his father. In fact, it may have just fallen into their laps. He'll tell her Dumas has invited everyone to his chateau in France. Chelsea will ask what she needs to pack. We didn't make the guest list, Adam will reply. He'll add it's a slap in the face. Every Newman got an invite, except him. But he'll find a way for his dad to focus on Dumas rather than Billy. Out on the patio, Billy will tell Sally he's been invited to Dumas' summer home in Nice. He'll add many Genoa City elites have also received invitations. When he says he's going, Sally will be concerned. Abbott Communications is going to need our focus from here on out, but Billy will say he needs to find out what Dumas is up to. She'll point out Jack and Diane are going to Europe anyway, let them find out. Billy will say they should put off the launch for a month. Postponing it now makes us look weak and unprofessional, she'll reply. Billy thinks it's the right move, and there's a bonus. I get to take you to Nice. At Society, Nick and Phyllis will discuss their daughter's new love interest. He thinks he should go and meet him. What if I'm in the neighborhood? Phyllis will ask if he's going to Europe again and why. So Nick will say he's been invited to Dumas' place in Nice. An exasperated Phyllis will say she just got back from DC trying to get a meeting with Dumas, but he had left before she and Amanda Sinclair got there. Nick will tell her she should give it up, but Phyllis will say she's come up with a new plan. Perhaps he can find a place for me in his organization. Nick will ask what she has in mind. I'm not ready to tell you the details just yet, she'll reply. Nick will tell her Dumas has been sniffing around Chancellor. Phyllis will ask why. After all, it's a private company. Nick will say Dumas seems underhanded. Stay away from Dumas, okay, he'll add. Then Phyllis will come up with an idea. Why don't I just hitch a ride on the jet to France? She'll ask. But Nick will get a call before he can tell her he's already invited Sharon Newman to go with him. Finally, Nick will walk away to take his call and Phyllis will text Amanda. Just heard about the nice party. Get me on the guest list? But will Amanda come through for her again? Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our My and our Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and The Restless online at cbs.com. The Young and The Restless spoilers for the week of June 9 to 13 reveal that Aristotle Dumas will pull off a big surprise, while Sharon Newman and Nick Newman face some temptation. Lily Winters will also be furious, so here's what I and our fans can expect. For starters, Victoria Newman and Cole Howard will have to re-examine what their future's going to look like. Cole's serious health crisis could leave Victoria eager to marry him, even if time's potentially running out. Over with Mariah Copeland, she'll also deal with growing concerns about her next chapter. Maria knows that if she comes clean to Tessa Porter about her business trip mistake, it could totally derail her marriage. As for Audra Charles, she'll face Victor Newman's pressure to reel Kyle Abbott in and ruin his romance with Claire Newman ASAP. Victor may give Audra some extra motivation to get the job done fast, but she could land in some trouble as a result. Audra and Kyle could both cross lines they didn't intend to cross by the end of all this. Despite Sally Spectra's complaints, Billy Abbott will dig his heels in when it comes to delaying Abbott Communications' launch and attending Dumas Shindig. Phyllis Summers will be determined to attend Dumas Bash too, so we'll see if she can score an invitation or if she'll just become a party crasher. Regardless, Nick has invited Sharon to be his +1 during this extended stay at Dumas' summer home in Nice. That sounds like a pretty romantic locale if you ask us, so some temptation could be looming. Sharon and Nick will indeed struggle to make sense of their complex feelings in the coming episodes, so could fans see a kiss or even a hookup sooner or later? No matter how things might heat up during this trip, Dumas' true identity will be the real shocker. Friday the 13th could bring Dumas' big reveal, so will Billy Flynn make his debut as a Kane recast as predicted? If so, Lily is sure to unleash her fury over her ex-husband, creating this elaborate tycoon persona and fooling her all this time. Billy, Victor, Jack Abbott, Devin Winters, and plenty of other stunned partygoers will also react once the Dumas revelation goes down. Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti will return on June 13 as well, so it'll be fun to see them back on canvas. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, June 5, reveal that Victoria Newman will face a crushing blow while Kyle Abbott gears up for one of his own, since he can't escape Victor Newman's destruction. Let's talk about all the drama that's about to escalate in Genoa City. For starters, Cole Howard is dealing with a terrible medical setback, so Victoria has been incredibly worried about him. Those worries will skyrocket even more on Thursday's I and R episode, since Victoria will get updates on some devastating news. Cole has been reluctant to go to the hospital or see a doctor again, so could there be a reason for his stubbornness? If Cole already knows what he's up against, he might realize there's no point if the doctors can't help him. It's possible that Cole will make a difficult confession to Victoria and reveal that he's been concealing an awful diagnosis. On the other hand, it's also possible Cole will become so weak that he finally caves in and accepts more medical help. That could lead to Cole getting a new examination before a doctor nails down his horrible condition, maybe even one that could prove fatal. Regardless, Victoria will face a crushing blow on Thursday's show, so it sounds like she'll realize Cole's health crisis is indeed quite serious. Over with Victor, he'll have to decide whether he's going to accept Kyle's $5 million offer. Kyle has agreed to pay up if he breaks Claire Newman's heart, so Victor might as well sign the contract. Since Victor is setting a trap for Kyle with Audra Charles' help, he intends to open Claire's eyes to the kind of man he really is. Victor basically plans to break Claire's heart for her own good, so he might put his signature down and decide to take $5 million from Kyle in the process. Kyle was hoping he could convince Victor to back off, but it's clear that Victor will move full speed ahead with his Kyle destruction plot. Meanwhile, Lily Winters will make a vow to Nate Hastings, who'll remain concerned about her desire to attend Aristotle Dumas' party in Nice. Despite Nate's fears about this mysterious situation, Lily may promise she'll keep her guard up the whole time. Maria is in a big storyline on The Young and the Restless. She's keeping a secret from her wife, Tessa, one that could possibly destroy their marriage. Maria's secret was a main focus of May's sweeps, but since then, she and Tessa haven't been seen in weeks. So what happened to the couple? And will Maria's secret ever be revealed? When Maria returned from her business trip, Tessa sensed something was wrong. Maria brushed it off as fatigue, but later confessed to Sharon that something bad had happened on the trip. Maria didn't reveal what her secret was, but said that Tessa could never know. Although she's trying to protect her wife from the truth, the guilt is eating Mariah alive. Distance is growing in Taraya's marriage, and during an emotional conversation, Maria admitted Ian's reappearance reopened old trauma. Tessa wants to save her marriage and help Maria through this ordeal, but Maria won't open up. It's been 3 weeks since the couple's discussion, and they haven't been appeared on screen since. However, that will change soon. Speculation is circulating on what Maria's secret could be. Theories range from an affair to murder, both of which would upset Tessa and destroy Taraya's marriage. Whatever the secret is, Y and R could be inching closer to the big reveal. This week's spoilers reveal that Maria will be troubled by her past. Could it have something to do with what happened on her trip? Or does it have something to do with her past with Ian? Maria's storyline is kicking back up in time for summer. There's bound to be lots of drama and twists as her secret is finally exposed. But the big question is whether she and Tessa will survive the fallout. In the current storyline of the daytime soap opera, The Young and the Restless, people have been celebrating Nikki Newman's birthday. Nikki's birthday in Genoa City is nothing less than a grand event. The celebration is taking place at the Jazz Lounge. The guest list for the party also included Victor's longtime rivals, the Abbott family. In the recent episode of The Young and the Restless, which aired on June 2, 2025, at Nikki Newman's party, Kyle took a moment to deliver a heartwarming speech. He praised Nikki for her resilience, strength, and also gave her a thoughtful gift. While many at the party appeared moved by his words, Victor Newman remained noticeably stoic. He offered no visible reaction, leaving some to wonder whether he was unimpressed or simply choosing to ignore the Abbotts. A fan named Cheryl Washington shared a post with her thoughts on the incident on Facebook on June 3, 2025. Cheryl wrote, "In the post, the fans expressed their feelings towards the incident, where Kyle gave a speech and a gift that touched the audience. However, Victor remained unmoved, wearing a tight expression with no visible emotions. Many fans of The Young and the Restless took an interest in the post and shared their views on the same. While some fans of the soap opera appreciated Kyle's speech and gift, they commented. On the other hand, several fans of the soap opera expressed how they no longer liked the character. Some even mentioned that it was because of the writers of the show that their opinion of the character had worsened. They commented, "The Young and the Restless is a long-running daytime soap opera that follows the lives, loves, and rivalries of families in the fictional town of Genoa City. Known for its dramatic twists and powerful characters, the show explores themes of ambition, betrayal, romance, and family legacy." In the episode of the soap opera that aired on May 2nd, Kyle gave a heartwarming speech on Nikki's birthday. Previously, while the Abbotts arrived at the event, he was seen looking for Claire. He ran into Victoria, where she expressed that she is rooting for their relationship along with Nikki and Cole, but Victor still disagrees with their relationship. He promised that he had plans to win over Victor with his charm, but he remained unsuccessful. At the event, he gave a speech and appreciated Nikki for her strength, and even compared her to the queen on the chessboard. Later, he surprised her with a gift that made her teary. He gifted her a charm bracelet with the names of all her kids and grandkids. He also left a key empty, saying to add the new ones in the future, hinting at his relationship with Claire. Tara Locke is set to reclaim custody of her son Harrison, sparking a heated legal and emotional battle with Kyle Abbott. This conflict promises intense drama, as both parents are deeply invested in their child's future. Tara, driven by unwavering maternal love, is determined to protect her bond with Harrison despite past challenges. Kyle, equally committed, believes he can provide a stable, nurturing environment for his son. Their tumultuous history complicates the dispute, raising questions about trust, responsibility, and what's best for Harrison, who is caught between his parents' competing worlds. At the heart of the conflict is Harrison, whose innocence and love for both parents make the custody battle deeply emotional. His conflicting feelings, comfort with his mother's warmth and attachment to his father's joyful presence, highlight the complexity of the situation. Psychological consultations reveal Harrison's struggle to navigate his divided loyalties, adding a poignant layer to the drama. Both Tara and Kyle must prioritize their son's well-being, but personal tensions and external influences threaten to cloud their judgment. Audra Charles emerges as a pivotal figure, subtly manipulating Kyle's emotions and decisions. Her calculating nature and lingering connection with Kyle create tension, sowing doubt about his ability to focus on the custody battle. Audra's strategic words and actions exploit Kyle's vulnerabilities, pulling him into a web of confusion and temptation. Her presence not only affects Kyle's resolve, but also risks destabilizing his personal and professional life, as rumors of their closeness spread through Newman Media and Jebot. The drama escalates with a rekindled attraction between Kyle and Audra, despite his relationship with Claire Newman and Audra's involvement with Nate Hastings. A late-night encounter at Jebot, fueled by shared history and a charged moment, leads to a kiss that reignites old passions. This betrayal sends shockwaves through their relationships. Claire senses Kyle's growing distance, while Nate grows suspicious of Audra's evasiveness. When Nate uncovers their intimacy, the fallout threatens personal bonds and professional alliances, leaving lasting consequences for all involved. In a parallel storyline, Victoria Newman faces a profound personal crisis as Cole Howard's health deteriorates. Initially dismissed as work-related fatigue, Cole's condition worsens, forcing Victoria to confront the possibility of losing him. Her love transforms into a mature, sacrificial commitment as she cares for Cole through sleepless nights and hospital visits. Determined to cherish every moment, Victoria proposes to Cole in an emotional, impromptu moment, leading to a simple yet heartfelt wedding. Surrounded by family, including a supportive yet conflicted Victor and Nikki, the couple celebrates their love against the backdrop of an uncertain future. The intertwined stories of Geno City explore themes of love, betrayal, and resilience. Tara and Kyle's custody battle tests their ability to prioritize Harrison's needs over personal conflicts. Kyle's entanglement with Audra jeopardizes a web of deception that jeopardizes their relationships and business dealings. Meanwhile, Victoria's devotion to Cole showcases the power of love to endure even the most trying circumstances. As each character navigates their challenges, the narrative underscores the cost of temptation and the strength required to rebuild from broken trust and impending loss. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, June 4, reveal that Phyllis Summers will get some enraging Sharon Newman news, while Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott make a decision. For starters, Diane and Jack will consider whether they'll officially accept Aristotle Dumas' party invitation. Since Jack and Diane were going to take a honeymoon anyway, they should be on the same page about making Dumas' bash part of their trip. Over with Phyllis, she'll have an interesting proposal for Nick Newman to mull over. There's a good chance Phyllis' attempt to get her foot in the door with Dumas will fail miserably in Washington, D.C. that could leave Phyllis desperate to score a party invite. So she may push Nick to take her as his plus one. Although Phyllis may view this as another path to meeting Dumas and making a pitch to him, there'll be a problem. Nick will presumably admit he already offered to take Sharon as his plus one instead, so that should leave Phyllis fuming. Despite Phyllis' attempt to change Nick's mind, he may refuse to bail on Sharon for his other ex. Even so, Phyllis is awfully determined to have a face-to-face meeting with Dumas, so she may find another way to crash the bash. Other Y and R spoilers say Chelsea Lawson will back Adam Newman into a corner and force him to make a significant choice. Adam will face Chelsea's harsh ultimatum, so this will presumably go back to their Billy Abbott conflict. Chelsea may lay down the law if it looks like Adam's going to surrender to Victor Newman's repeated demands. Since Chelsea doesn't want Adam to use Newman Media for a Billy smear campaign, this could be his last chance to go along with her wishes. Chelsea could quit the company if Adam can't figure out how to handle Victor, so there will be a lot at stake. Will Adam be able to throw Victor off track with another scandal like he talked about? The Young and the Restless spoilers say Chelsea will apply plenty of pressure, so stay tuned for updates on how Adam will respond. Summer Newman's exit from The Young and the Restless initially appeared uneventful, but it now seems her departure was merely the calm before a major storm. As developments unfold, Summer is poised to make a dramatic return, potentially with a new husband. After leaving Genoa City, Summer extended her stay in Italy and appointed a new executive to take over Chelsea Lawson's role at Marchetti. Notably, this replacement is rumored to be a charming and attractive man, which has sparked immediate speculation about a possible romantic connection. The excitement has intensified with reports suggesting that actor Chad Duell, known for his emotionally complex roles on General Hospital, could portray this mystery man. If true, his presence would signal a significant expansion of the storyline. The central question now is, will Summer come back home? Soap operas have a history of dramatic returns from European retreats, often with game-changing revelations. Summer, known for her passionate yet strategic nature, left the scene after her marriage to Kyle Abbott crumbled under the weight of his secret child with Tara Locke. In the aftermath, she chose self-reflection and distance. But now, signs point toward a transformed Summer, no longer the heartbroken ex, but possibly a new bride. Kyle, despite his questionable decisions, still seems emotionally tethered to Summer. A return with a new husband, especially one connected to Marchetti or with potential links to Jabot or Newman Enterprises, could deeply disrupt both Kyle's personal and professional stability. The prospect of rivalry is strong, particularly if Summer's new partner has vested interests in Genoa City's corporate ecosystem. Phyllis is expected to have mixed reactions. While likely supportive of her daughter's new chapter, she is also known for her protective instincts. Should she sense ulterior motives from Summer's new spouse, she will undoubtedly intervene. Nick, meanwhile, may attempt to remain supportive, though his unwavering loyalty to the Newman family could complicate matters if internal conflicts arise. A key point of intrigue revolves around the identity and intentions of Summer's possible new husband. Could he be working secretly with Victor Newman? Might he be a plant from Tucker McCall? Or is he simply an opportunist who saw a chance to win over Summer during a vulnerable time? Whatever the truth, the timing of this storyline feels deliberate and impactful. Summer, often sidelined despite being the daughter of legacy characters, is finally being placed at the center of the drama. Her return, with a wedding ring and untold secrets, promises to ignite a cascade of revelations and power shifts. In the recent episode of the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless aired on June 3, 2025, after Kyle presented a gift and raised a toast at Nikki's birthday. He offered Victor a $5 million contract to prove he was serious about Claire. The party took a worrying turn when Cole Howard fell ill. He had a fever, looked weak, and struggled to breathe. Victoria and Claire were concerned, while Victor feared it could be pneumonia. Meanwhile, Adam and Chelsea talked about Sharon's feelings for Nick. Sharon was happy when Nick invited her to an event. Elsewhere, Lauren worried about Michael getting pulled back into Victor's world. Nikki Newman's birthday party on The Young and the Restless started off well, but quickly took a bad turn when Cole Howard began feeling sick. He coughed, loosened his tie, and looked weak with a fever. Claire and Victoria were worried and wanted him to get help, but Cole said he just needed rest. Victor quietly told Nikki he thought Cole might have pneumonia. Even though everyone tried to enjoy the party, Cole's condition worried all of the Newmans. Kyle tried to win over Victor with a heartfelt toast and a charm bracelet for Nikki, but it didn't work. Victor thought it was too much and didn't trust his motives. Later at the GZAC bar, Kyle took a different approach and made a bold offer. He told Victor he'd sign a contract that would make him liable to a payment of $5 million if he ever hurt Claire, calling it a pre-prenup. Claire soon joined them with news about Cole, but later asked Kyle what he had said. Kyle admitted he made an offer to prove himself. Victor told Nikki about the deal, and she wondered what it would really take for him to accept Claire and Kyle's relationship. Chelsea and Adam talked about Sharon's feelings for Nick, showing how complicated things were between the three. Adam said he had no reason to go easy on Billy, but knew Chelsea still cared about him. At the party on The Young and the Restless, Jack also gave Nikki a toast, but Victor wasn't impressed with that either. Their friend Pietro cheered things up by calling Claire and Kyle a cute couple and joking about planning their wedding. His comment brought a light moment to an otherwise tense evening. Lauren was still worried that Michael might get pulled back into Victor's world because of his past loyalty. But Diane was happy he chose to walk away, especially because it had to do with not wanting to sabotage Jack. She praised Michael and hugged him, glad he was setting limits with Victor. Sharon spoke with Ashley and thought she was worried about Tracy, but it seemed like Ashley was struggling herself. Sharon also said she was sad to miss Aristotle Dumas' party, but Nick surprised her by asking her to go with him. She was visibly happy, and it showed there might still be a spark between them. The Young and the Restless episode was full of emotions, bold moves, and hints of trouble ahead, proving that drama is never far from the Newman and Abbott families, even during a celebration. Young and the Restless's poor Cole Howard has taken a drastic turn for the worse this week with his health, and that could lead to a fast-tracked wedding for Claire Grace Newman and Kyle Abbott if Cole's illness is fatal. So at Nikki Newman's party, a few things happened that are pretty important. First, Kyle made two big gestures to get Victor Newman's approval. The first was the very nice toast he made to Nikki, and then the charm bracelet Kyle got her. It impressed Nikki, but Victor was quite smirky about it. He seemed to think the whole thing was performative. Second was that Kyle circled around to talk to him man-to-man and said he would sign a prenup. That is a document stating if Kyle breaks Claire's heart, he would pay a $5 million fine to Victor and Kyle would also leave town. I mean, that seems pretty ironclad. And Victor tells Nikki about it later in the evening. And I'm sure Kyle's going to tell Claire this week as well. So also at the party, Cole showed up, and they were talking about his recovery and how things were looking better. He had been in quarantine at the GVAC, but once he got better and apparently wasn't contagious. Then Victoria Newman asked him to move back to her house, the tack house at the ranch. But then at the party, Cole had a huge setback. He was talking with Victoria and Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson Newman, but then all of a sudden Cole couldn't stop coughing, and then he couldn't breathe. And then Victoria and Claire were really alarmed when Cole collapsed. So Claire runs off real quick to tell Kyle and Victor that her dad Cole has relapsed. Looks like he's contagious, so Eric thinks it sounds like pneumonia, and offers to send his private physician to check on Cole. But things definitely look dire for Victoria's boyfriend this week on Young and the Restless. So it could be pneumonia or some more serious disease that Cole picked up in his travels working for Newman's publishing division. Or it could be some respiratory disorder that's really dangerous, maybe even some cancer that was undiagnosed, or some other infectious disease he's picked up somewhere. Hopefully, Claire and Victoria get some answers soon, but Cole's health is clearly going in the wrong direction. Claire's dad getting worse instead of better and things not looking good for Cole means big changes ahead. So, we've got two storylines that seem to be on a collision course. First, of course, is Kyle trying to prove to Victor that he really loves Claire and is the best man for her. And of course, second is Cole's health crisis. So if Claire finally realizes there's nothing she or Kyle can say or do to prove to Victor they belong together, then Claire might finally take the right attitude of, oh well, you're not going to be happy anyway, so I'm just going to do what makes me happy. So Claire may just give up on seeking Victor's approval of her and Kyle. Plus, once Claire finds out Kyle offered to pay a $5 million penalty for breaking her heart, that also could be another tipping point where she's like, okay, this is the guy for me. And another little red flag was that Pro, the party planner, mentioned that he also does weddings, and he told Claire that he thinks Kyle is really cute and he does weddings. That's just another little hint. Maybe, just maybe, Claire and Kyle are going to be saying I do. But Claire made it clear to Kyle she's not pressing on that point. She's not in a rush. And at the same time, Nikki asked Victor to please accept Kyle and Claire's relationship, basically as an ultimate birthday present for her. Victor just kissed Nikki, but he's not telling her that he'll accept them. But again, Claire may be at the point where she may decide to marry Kyle with or without Victor's acceptance. Because if Cole has a fatal disease, this could be Claire's only chance to have her dad walk her down the aisle as a bride. And because of her crazy great-aunt Jordan Howard, Claire spent most of her life without her parents Cole and Victoria, and thinking the worst of them, thinking they rejected her. So if things do take a bad turn and Kyle is really going to die, that's going to change everything, including how Claire handles Victor's acceptance or rejection of what she wants in life. Because if Cole gets a deadly diagnosis and only has a few weeks or a few months to live, I could see Claire wanting to say I do to Kyle before she says goodbye to her father. It will probably mean a lot to Cole, also because Claire is the only child he's got, and at this point, the only child he will ever have. So no matter the circumstance, I can guarantee Victor will not approve of Claire marrying Kyle. Period. Not ever. In his mind, Jack Abbott and Kyle and Billy Abbott and the other male Abbotts are all garbage people. He had grudging respect for John, but for the rest of them, he hates them. Victor's wrath against the Abbott men is unhinged, is unprovoked, and it's endless these days and a little exhausting. But since the rest of the Newman family will support Claire and Kyle along with the Abbotts, Claire might decide she's going to be Mrs. Kyle Abbott very soon because Claire asked him to do it. Kyle went above and beyond to win Victor's approval. Even though he knew it was always a lost cause, they just need to get Claire to see it. And by they, I mean Victoria and Cole with some help from Kyle. Once Claire sees that chasing Victor's approval is an utter waste of time, she may just start planning that wedding. And I'm sure Kyle would be very happy to put a ring on her finger. Basically, this party to me was Claire giving Victor one last test to show he could behave like a civilized person, and the mustache failed. And it was a test for Kyle to see if he would make the effort. He did. He passed. Victor failed. So later this week, according to official Young and the Restless spoilers, Victoria gets bad news. And it seems likely it's about Cole and his health crisis. So if Victoria and Claire find out Cole doesn't have long to live, that could be a game changer that helps Kyle get what he wants, which is a happily ever after with the woman he loves. So I could totally see him proposing to Claire and saying, "Let's get married while your dad can be there to celebrate with us." Cole would probably like that. Victoria would be on board with it. Even Nikki would understand. And of course, the rest of the Newmans are very pro-Claire and Kyle anyway. And of course, Victor would probably accuse Kyle of being manipulative and using Cole's illness to get what he wants, which is Claire. That doesn't mean it won't happen and they won't get married. So we'll have to wait to see what Victoria finds out later this week about Cole and just how bad it is. And then from there, we'll probably have a better idea of whether Claire and Kyle are going to fast-track the next stage of their relationship and walk down the aisle. Victor Newman is the final boss of Genoa City. You can scream, you can shout, you can plot behind his back, but you'll never take down the great Victor Newman. The man's not just a legend, he's practically a supervillain in a Brioni suit, and he likes it that way. Victor is currently orchestrating a full-blown Abbott takedown tour on The Young and the Restless, and he's not even breaking a sweat. Billy, Jack, Kyle, line up. Gentlemen, your reckoning is in motion. For decades, Victor has ruled Genoa City like a silk-gloved iron fist. Business rivalries? He invented them. Family drama? He thrives on it. Frenemies? He keeps them close, just to remind them who's boss. And while the town's population cycles through comas, secret babies, and the occasional resurrection, Victor stays one step ahead with a glare that could melt steel. Some viewers think it's time for the mustache to face his downfall. Cute. That's like saying a tornado should take a nap. You don't stop Victor Newman. You just hope he doesn't decide you're next. He's got Billy twitching, Kyle scrambling, and Jack second-guessing himself, and that's just this week. And let's not forget, Victor is just as hard on his family as he is on his enemies. Adam, Nick, Victoria, they've all felt the sting of his high standards. But love him or hate him, no one gets results like Victor. He builds empires, topples adversaries, and delivers iconic one-liners that could be carved into Mount Rushmore. At this point, we shouldn't even be asking if Victor will win. The question is, how dramatic, brutal, and glorious will his victory be? Victor Newman will reign supreme until the very end, and we're all just lucky to be watching the fireworks. Because if there's one rule in Genoa City that stands the test of time, it's this: you do not mess with Victor Newman.